Hello to all who are interested in how to survive the next 3.8 billion years on this planet. This lecture is about the laws of living nature that help to overcome difficulties caused by volatile environment. So, what is a volatile environment? Volatility means fast changes which cause less or totally unpredictable future. In general, there is a name for it, VUCA. This is the acronym which means that the environment is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. This sounds frustrating, and we certainly do not appreciate it. We perceive it emotionally as frustration. We do not have procedures to act in such an environment. Moreover, we do not know where to find the recommendations on how to run the business in such conditions. When we have a difficult problem, we need something to rely on, some certainty. So we usually search for help from a consultant or from other people. To understand how people approach challenges in VUCA environment, we did a survey, asking where people would look for the help, look for the answers. It happened that only 10% of respondents trust personal experience. We all think that others may know better than we do. Only 5% of respondents would look for the answers in biology. It is understandable, because nobody knows how to do this. But 52% would consider all options. This is a good sign for openness and novelty. But on the other hand, this shows the level of frustration from VUCA, which we all experience. So, most of the respondents in our survey would go to a consultant. Which consultant is the best advisor about VUCA? I guess the most experienced one. Is 3.8 billion years of experience enough to trust this consultant? But in order to consult with living nature, you need, first of all, to get access to relevant laws of biology, and second, to interpret these laws of living nature into business language. This is exactly what BioTRIZ methodology provides. So, what is BioTRIZ? You probably know about TRIZ, theory of inventive problem solving. This set of methods and tools becomes more and more popular in technology and business management, especially nowadays when win-win inventive solution is on demand. Engineering is a traditional area of implementation of TRIZ. It is so traditional that people start thinking of TRIZ as some engineering tool, some engineering concept. But this is not the case. Inventive thinking is also required in business management, in other areas, in psychology as well. So TRIZ application to soft domains, marketing, management, psychology, is getting more and more popular. And it is understandable, because TRIZ improves thinking process. But what is actual thinking? It is a psychological process. Psychology is a science that studies humans and other animals who are living creatures. Psychology is a part of a wider range of science that are included in the biology. This means that TRIZ is already a biological concept. BioTRIZ embraces TRIZ as a subsystem, because BioTRIZ covers a wider range of decision-making, not only human thinking. That is why we can say that BioTRIZ is a super TRIZ. Okay, we just learned that TRIZ is about thinking process. Let's explore the fundamentals of BioTRIZ, how biology thinks. Or better to say, how biology addresses challenges. This graph shows how living nature and human would approach the same class of problems. It is a result of our study of engineering patents and biological effects patents of living nature. Even from the first glance, you see that approaches to challenges in biology and human technology are different. The similarity of the approaches is only 12%. This means that 88% of novel creative solutions are yet to be discovered. Let's consider these changes deeper. Have a look at energy. We can see that living systems do not use as much energy for resolution of the challenges as we do. Energy is very expensive and costs lives. Everyone needs food, so each one eats someone. So life is more efficient than technology. It's obliged to be more efficient than technology. But humans still can afford hit, beat and treat approach, at least in technology. Let's look at the most fundamental but controversial for us, the law of living nature. This law is related to energy efficiency in biology. Law of ultimate laziness. Attractive, isn't it? Looking into this law more carefully, you will find at least 3 ways of being efficient in laziness. This law is fundamental in biology. Energy saving is the main strategy. Best action is no action. Best device is no device, but the function is delivered. In biology, it refers to the concept of optimal foraging, for example. Have a look at substance domain. We spend a lot of resources to produce new materials. Living nature created numerous materials with a wide range of properties, from extremely hard to soft and liquid, using just 2 basic polymers, proteins and polysaccharides. Humans instead use more than 350 different polymers, and we have still not been able to create the variety of materials that exist in nature. Using structure and information is also different in engineering and biology. In biology, new properties are usually achieved by restructuring. Instead, we prefer to develop new materials. Life is the only natural phenomenon on Earth that operates with information. Decision-making is the main attribute of life. Before creating artificial intelligence systems, it's worth to understand how natural intelligence works. So we have a lot to learn from biology. Currently, business faces VUCA reality, but life deals with VUCA every day from the point of its origin on Earth. Moreover, business is partly biological system, as it involves people. If business is not flourishing, maybe we are working against some natural laws and do not notice this. Maybe it's time to reduce manual control in our companies and let business grow and adapt to VUCA by itself naturally. Life has worked out the ways to survive in such a volatile and aggressive reality. And these ways should be reflected in laws of approaching challenges. TRIZ inventive principles are models of achieving win-win solution. So we decided to formulate the laws of living nature similar to inventive principles of TRIZ. Following this logic, we have revealed 55 laws of living nature. Some of the laws correspond to some inventive principles directly. Some laws cover wider contexts. Some refer to multiple inventive principles of TRIZ. In this presentation, we will focus only on the laws that give ideas about life in VUCA. So let's look at the laws of nature that help to survive in VUCA environment.
We are fascinated by the progress and increasing speed of technology and society development. But on the other hand, we forget about the side effects of this process. Such increasing speed of technology evolution creates turbulent and volatile environment, exactly like speedy vehicle creates strong vortices of air. So let us consider the strategies that biology offers to engineers and managers. Life deals with VUCA all the time, and in spite of numerous catastrophes on this planet, it managed not only to survive but also to progressively evolve, adapting to a wide range of changing environments. In this presentation, we have chosen several most relevant to life in VUCA laws of living nature. Let us see how these laws are useful for engineers and managers. Let us start from the most fundamental law of a buffer or artificial environment, which is law number 11 on our list. This law is corresponding with TRIZ inventive principles numbers 7, nested doll, 9 and 10, preliminary action and anti-action, number 11, beforehand cushioning, number 24, use of a mediator, and number 30, use of flexible shells and thin films. All living creatures build protective layers and shells to buffer unfavorable conditions of the environment. Such protective shells can be natural, like a shell of a snail, or artificial, like ant hills or birds' nests and many other shelters. Buffering can be made on different levels, from physiology to culture. Physiological buffer keeps body warm, protected, and comfortable. We also know that some animals are covered with spikes, like hedgehog. Other animals have shells. These shells protect mollusks and turtles. Many animals have thick fur or coats to protect them from extreme temperatures, and also all these shells protect animals from mechanical, chemical, thermal, and other negative factors. Living creatures can accumulate energy inside their organisms, inside their bodies. For example, many animals, including us, human beings, can deposit fat inside the body. But others can create energy storage outside of their bodies, external storage. For example, bees accumulate honey and pollen, ants and rodents accumulate seeds, squirrels keep nuts and dried fruits. All these animals have their storages in their nests. All those energy storages ensure the stability of energy supply during ups and downs of the unpredictable energy flow of the volatile environment. Now some words about artificial or built buffer. On this picture you see a caddisfly larva who builds its own house using silk and also bits and pieces that it can find around. Hermit crab does not build anything but uses the available empty mollusk shell as a house. Such artificial constructions can be much more sophisticated. For example, social insects such as ants, termites, wasps, and bees build their complex nests. Beavers build huts and dams. Termites build skyscrapers with deep and complex underground system of chambers. Agriculture, which is also important part of artificial buffer, is widespread in ants and termites. It provides their colonies with food regardless to results of hunting and buffers food supply chains. Everyone knows that ants take care of aphids, protect them from predators such as ladybirds, hide from cold winter under the ground. Usually, ants are milking aphids to get sweet syrup for food, but if there is a need, they can eat aphids like we eat cows or pigs. Some species of ants grow also mushroom gardens as well. The next kind of buffers are social buffers. They create barriers and protection from intruders. Animals and even plants create social environment which appears the strongest and the most reliable protection from the outer world. Any living creature tends to surround itself with favorable social environment, which plays the role of a protective shell against various negative factors. Negative external factors can be also very diverse: predators, parasites, competitors, and surely adverse weather conditions. Social environment allows to get rid of parasites with the help of mutual grooming, protect from predators by collective defense, or from neighbors as ants and termites colonies protect borders by using special bodyguards. When snowstorm happens in Antarctica, penguins create dense flock. They also swap their positions. Those who stay inside and outside of the crowd change with each other. This strategy helps all of them to survive. Kindergartens and collective protection of youngsters are also widespread nearly in all social animals, but most known in colonial birds. Virtual buffer. It is about creating informational barrier, culture, learning new skills for adaptation, or, for example, hierarchy and behavioral rules, which is known in herds of antelopes, bird flocks, and wolf packs. People also created totally huge artificial environment, and so we feel mostly safe. But what if it is just an illusion? Our civilization created the impression that everything is under control. But the planet environment fights back, and now we need to deal with consequences of climate change, pollution, lack of clean drinking water, and as consequences of all these, social unrests and economical instability. We call this VUCA. The old protective shell is not good and not reliable enough. Now it is time to learn how can we change it. Are we too fat or too lean? The next law is the law of the excessive reliability, number 16. This law sounds like each function is supported by multiple parts of a system and each part is multifunctional. This law is related to TRIZ inventive principles number 16, partial or excessive action, and number 6, universality. Use of extra materials or any other resources to fortify our technological or business systems looks obvious, but this step is not sufficient to make it reliable enough in VUCA environment. Living systems achieve the reliability by the following design. Every element or part of the system is involved in many functions, but also every function is supported by several different parts of the system. Every part supports several functions, and every function is supported by several parts. Finally, this creates this network, which is obviously very reliable. Another important feature is in fact a consequence of all that I said above. It is the reaction and adaptation in biological systems that it happens at all the levels of structural complexity. For example, imagine that you were staying and then suddenly start running. And so all the systems of your organism will react to this change immediately. Muscles, heart, lungs, skeleton, from the levels of cells and tissues to organs and to the whole body. That is why most of biological systems are so reliable. This feature may be very useful to apply in technology and management. Consider the situation when all levels of business system react to any change automatically. The next law which could be useful for us is the law number 22. We can name it "Let the worst happen." Take advantage of a trouble, let it happen, but under your control. Lizard's tail can be left in teeth of a predator, but the lizard survives. This law is close to the TRIZ inventive principle, turn harm into benefit. But it is also closely related to principles number 9 and 10, preliminary action and anti-action. Number 25, self-service. Number 27, cheap short-living objects. And number 34, discarding and recovering. Nice example is large banana leaves. It allows wind to destroy weak parts of the leaf, and the rest of the leaf stays intact and let the wind pass. This helps them to withstand the wind load in spite of their large area of surface. The next law is the law number 42. It is very important for survival in volatile environment. It sounds as the end justifies the means. No wings, but you need to fly. Sugar glider, this is small creature, creates them out of skin. Birds build nests from cut-offs of electric cables and wire in the contemporary environment. Panda normally eats strictly only bamboo shoots, but in Moscow Zoo, pandas eat oat porridge and feels excellent, feels good. In drought, birds use their feathers to soak in water and pass this water to their nestlings, to the chicks in the nest. Of course, you understand that feathers are not supposed to carry water, but all means are good to get a desired result. The next law is very important for VUCA management. We called it the law of mice and elephants. There are two basic strategies and therefore representative organisms in biology. They are called R and K. What are these two strategies about? Have a look at typical representative of R and K organisms. A mouse and an elephant. What are the differences between them? Of course, size. Yes, indeed is different, as well as the speed of metabolism. Let us compare other parameters. Lifespan. Mice live from 1 to 3 years. Elephants, just like us, live up to 80 years. Mice have up to 20 offsprings up to 8 times a year. Elephants bring only one child in approximately 5 years. So mice are cheap, short-living, and elephants are opposite, expensive and long-living. The role of R and K strategies in ecology are also different. If we recover any bare land, for example after flood or fire, the recovery begins from R plants, so-called weeds, short-living, very endurable grass. Then such grass creates favorable conditions, first of all good soil, for bushes and deciduous plants, and finally K strategy plants are coming on the scene and dominate by creating the forest. All R systems, let's call them mice, are perfectly adapted to volatile and even hostile environment. K systems, let's call them elephants, live in stable, rich and predictable environment. So, the law of mice and elephants states a succession rule. Mice, R strategy, master a new dangerous environment and soon die. Elephants, K strategy, come after mice and live long and stable lives. When we talk about VUCA environment, we need to pay attention and deeply study R strategy in biology. What will help us to adapt to VUCA? Short-shipped projects, mobile temporal teams, companies that come and go, such as small and medium enterprises who look like mice due to their short life and fast reaction to changes. We already live in such R environment, and this causes our frustration. Is this a solution or the sign of VUCA? Do we need to accept or confront this? Focus on learning to survive in new reality? Or maybe help to overcome this stage of economic succession and balance VUCA with some K strategy?
The law of three crises. This law is under the number 49 in our list. It doesn't correspond to any inventive principle of TRIZ. We have derived this law from our experiment on ant colonies. We were studying their reaction on social and ecological crises. We found that these two crises require completely different mitigation strategies. In 1 week, we increased 10 times the population of ant colony, simulating the social crisis. Ecological crisis we simulated by transferring the colony to a completely new environment. Both experiments were done in natural environment on 3 species of ants, repeating each experiment at least twice. Internal social crisis was resolved by increasing the order, introducing new rules by professional experts. On the contrary, ecological crisis was resolved by the most creative and open-minded individuals who could perform any task. Socially active ants became leaders in overcoming ecological crisis. They directed and managed other ants. What lessons for human management we can derive from this law? First of all, leaders experts help in internal company crisis when all structure doesn't work anymore or affected seriously and new one hasn't been developed yet. Experts add more predictability, procedures and more order in the company, reducing the VUCA. On the contrary, leading universal workers help to manage volatile environment. Experts are not comfortable resolving challenges outside their expertise and their competence, and external VUCA environment should rely only on social active universals that can organize the work. There is one more biological law that supports this solution. Law number 6, the law of creative dilettante. It sounds as knowing a little about everything makes the best social leader. So, even from the brief descriptions of some laws in biology, we can derive some fresh ideas for our life in VUCA environment. Such ideas may be presented as the following rules. First of all, we need to be very careful applying lean technology. Do not let lean approach to touch the buffer. Change lean strategy to critical types of wastes. Do not reduce but use the waste. It's related to law number 11. Avoid strict specialization. Be creative. This is related to law number 16. Do not work against environment. Use it for your best benefit. Law number 12. Small and short-living teams and companies help to adapt in VUCA. Law number 27. We usually expect the success from SMEs, but put them into difficult position of triple uncertainty, basically triple crisis. It's underdeveloped company structure, not fully elaborated new product, and lack of reputation of the company and the product on the market. So what can we expect from SMEs in such conditions? On the other hand, SMEs are the main actors in VUCA environment. Our approach to SMEs need reviewing and better understanding what to do. Forget instructions and rules. Deliver the function by different means or by just any available means. This is law number 42. Use different approach to team building and make business strategy adaptable. This is related to law number 49. Do not introduce much changes. Create the conditions for self-changing. This is the law 22. Obviously, implementation of these rules depends on actual circumstances and specific conditions. And finally, let's see what to switch on and what to switch off in our approach in VUCA environment. Emotions. Emotions should be off, but creative thinking should be on. Past experience, okay, it doesn't work anymore, should be off. More ideas should be on. Details shouldn't be considered, it should be off, but helicopter view is the best approach, should be on. Immediate action should be off, definitely. In the conditions of uncertainty, the very best strategy is to do nothing and wait. Okay, deep research should be on. Thank you for your attention. In case you are interested in full list of biological laws and how to apply them in design, technology and business, please contact us by email. We will inform you when the book is published and available on Amazon.